We are so back. Oh my god. Hello, everybody. I'm so glad to see everybody. Sorry that I missed last week. That was kind of rude of me, to be honest. Oh shit. Hold on real quick. Oh fuck. Hold on. I think I fucked this up already. Hello? Hello? Oh man. Yes, guys, I'm so sorry. I really dropped the ball. I've never been on a Substack live. Hi. Oh, hi, the Leonard J. Um, I kind of dropped the ball last week. I didn't come on live, not because I didn't want to be on here. It was entirely actually just because I needed a little bit of a break. Honestly, I'd been like really going a break from my life as an influencer. You may or may not recognize me from that other app. Really? Would I recognize you from the other app? I don't know. Hmm. But because I missed last week, I've decided to actually open up my live today to all of my Substack subscribers because I feel like that it's uh it's only fair. It's only fair, to be honest. We'll be going for 30 minutes today, and then I'll be transitioning over to TikTok, where I primarily go live because the reach is just so much crazier over there. I mean, it's just insane, honestly, guys. I really wish it wasn't the case, but it just is. It just is. What's going on, Schlippy? How are we doing? What's going on, Bleepo? Bleepo is like half the name of my dog. I like to call him Bebo. Do you guys know that? Do you guys know I call my dog Bebo? Here, actually, let me bring over Bebo. Hold on. Bebo, come here. Look, and he's about to join us. Yeah, that's right. It's peak Bebo time. Oh, what's going on, Police Respecter? Always good to see you. I really enjoy seeing you like my stuff, like all my writing. Guys, I've honestly been popping off a lot this last week with all of my writing. I think I've been doing a good job of actually trying to analyze things in a way that provides some kind of value, some kind of analytical framing to all the bullshit that we're all reading. The Leonard J says, I got temporarily banned for pondering whether or not Bondi might mysteriously fall down. Wait, that was you? What? You were the person who was writing that? Dude, I thought those comments were so funny and also so correct. What are we talking about? Of course, the only logical conclusion to Trump creating a sort of a kakistocracy is that he would then literally mimic the dynamics between the federal government and the Siloviki that it exists in Russia, where if you step out of line, you fall out of a window. I thought we all kind of knew that. Like, God, you know what though? The crazier and crazier that federal governments all over the world get as things like climate change continue to metastasize and really ruin society, and as the ease of wealth extraction lowers considerably, the more they're all going to start looking like each other and just copying each other. They're going to be like that viral TikTok audio from Danielle Brioli, where she goes, "She looks like every other bitch." I got banned for encouraging violence. Oh my god, F's in the chat for that, dude. For real, if you're still in the chat, please drop F for the Leonard J. I mean, that sucks. I thought we were a country. I thought this was America. Actually, Leonard J, I'll drop an F for you. Hold on. There we go. F in the chat for you, buddy. Also, it's like you're not even encouraging violence. You're not saying somebody should go do that. You're just like, oh, somebody will probably do that. It's so dumb. Oh my god. This reminds me of when yeah, thank you, Schlippy, I appreciate you. This reminds me of when people like to get on my ass about like, oh, Cornpop said not to vote for Kamala Harris, and meanwhile I never have said that once in my life. In fact, what I said during 2024 was, you all should vote for Kamala Harris. That woman's just going to lose really bad. And then people were like, duh, he wanted her to lose. God, he wanted it. He wanted them to lose so bad. Cornpop's a crypto fascist. Oh man, God, it's hot as balls where I am, dude. Holy shit. I mean, here in the Mid-Atlantic, I mean, it's unstomachable how hot it is. It really is. We have a good show for you all today, though. I really think so. I have some really good stories I want to get off here on Substack first before I go over to TikTok, because I think you guys will really enjoy them a lot. And then also, like, I'll just shoot the shit with the chat a little bit as well. The Leonard J says, "Why does that sound like 10-year-old Trump?" I don't really think it sounded like, well, because 10-year-old Trump is just that clip of Barron. right? Where he's talking to Trump and Melania in Trump Tower. Today's show, by the way, is sponsored by Lucky Strike cigarettes. This is an ad. Make sure you smoke, everybody. Make sure that you smoke them if you got them. Today's show is also sponsored by Stella non-alcoholic beer because you can't have two vices at the same time. Let's just make sure we all know that. I want my suitcase. Oh my god. I hear all these crazy rumors through the Faux Moi subreddit about how Barron Trump is like secretly smoking if you got him. That's right, police respecter, because we're a fucking country in this house. And you know what else? What I love about the Lucky Strike cigarettes in particular? They're kind of beefy. Like they actually have they have some teeth. It's like I can hold this between my teeth. You know, but like you give me a Marlboro, you give me a Camel, and it's like I feel like I could crush that with my front teeth, which I shouldn't be able to. Speaking of crushing things with your teeth, honestly, guys, I've been having dreams the last couple of weeks where my teeth fall out in the middle of them, and it fucks with me so hard because I know that dreams don't mean anything because they're literally just your brain having random thoughts in succession while you're under REM. But there's something about having many dreams in a row where my teeth fall out where I'm like, it has to mean something. It has to. I woke up this morning from a dream where these two, where my canines fell out, and I was like, the first thing I did was I fucking wiggled them like crazy, and I was like, does it shake? Does it shake? Shaking it like a shake weight over here. Luckily, they don't shake at all, which is obviously good. Oh man, everybody, we're on week what is this, 4 of the war? You know what? Actually, us being, what if they fell out right now? Oh my god, yeah, they fell out right now. That would be actually crazy. Whenever I think about the fact that we're on week 4 of the war now, and I remember that we've spent $30 billion for a kind of amorphous direction. We have no objective. Like I don't even think Trump wants to conquer Tehran. Like there's at least a sort of believability that if Bush or Cheney had ever really, really conquered Iraq or something, you know what I mean? Sorry, year 4. Sorry, you're right. Oh wait, yeah. It is only week 4. There's at least a believability to me that if Cheney or Bush had ever really conquered Iraq, if we just seized it so completely, and there's nothing stopping us from doing anything, right? At least they would have they would have appointed a viceroy of Baghdad or something. You know what I mean? There's a believability of that. They would have had a celebration there in Baghdad. Maybe they would have opened up like a Dairy Queen in Baghdad. There'd be a fucking press conference where George Bush is like, I want vanilla, yeah, right inside of a Dairy Queen. But Trump has no interest in going to a bombed out, hollowed, husked Tehran. He could literally have he could have MBS himself. He could have MBS cutting the ribbon on Knott's Berry Farm, Baghdad. And Trump would not go to that because these people are so fucking racist in their worldview. They are so of the belief that white Americans are so completely superior to everything else that they would just find it dirty. I really think that's where it begins and ends. When I read headlines that say that Pete Hegseth is over here firing generals because the generals were going to elevate black women to become 1-star generals. I mean, the most nothing burger thing imaginable, to be quite honest with you. I mean, we're not talking about the entire Joint Chiefs of Staff becoming black and gay and indigenous and all that shit. We're talking about career military professionals becoming 1-star generals. When I learned that man is over here firing generals because they were going to just do the most milquetoast thing possible, which is have black people in the brass, that tells me everything I need to know, which is that this is a deeply unserious mission. I mean, really, there's no there. These people don't care. There's no version of them that actually has a vision for anything other than rolling thunder, which is really the thing I'm actually quite afraid of. I don't know if all of you share that with me, but I'm very afraid that there will be a frustration, a felt impotence amongst the leaders of the federal government, where they will just decide, I'm sick of waiting. I don't want to see more footage come into me in the Situation Room where I'm watching young men and women die from drones. Nuke them. Now, I don't know if they'll actually nuke them, but I mean, something equivalent though. It's like they'll really just decide, yeah, fuck it, carpet bomb Tehran. Who gives a fuck? And ultimately, I mean, when I say who gives a fuck, that's like me saying that, but also I feel like that's what the world would say too. if I'm being quite honest with all of you, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't see a single version of reality where the EU or NATO steps up to Trump and is like, "Hey, you can't carpet bomb Tehran," because we just watched as Israel, backed by the United States. I mean, Israel is a vassal state of the United States. We just watched as Israel fucking detonated bomb after bomb in marketplaces, in the pockets of people, literally with the pager attack in Lebanon. Detonate bombs in schools, send missiles into courtyards, identify people carrying bags of grain, fucking, like sending whole missiles that cost $15 million to blow up two people. Well, they watched as that happen, and what was their response to that? Wow, that's really sad. Yeah, yeah. Maybe we'll like open an art installation in like Bruges or something, or Amsterdam. Yeah, they don't give a fuck. So I feel like they have Trump decide. Quite honestly, I feel like if Trump decided he was gonna use a tactical nuke in Tehran, even still, I feel like that they would just be like, "Wow, that's really disgusting. It's barbarous," you know? It reminds us that the United States was the first ever to drop a bomb and then nothing. Be a whole lot of tweets, be some fucking articles in Deve, you know? That'd be it, though. I mean, what are they gonna do? They're gonna cut off trade with the United. What are they gonna do? They're gonna shut off AWS? Like, let's just be honest about that. There's no version of accountability for the United States currently, unless everybody's about to get really cool with a crazy lash out from us. And I just don't think it's gonna happen. We still have Ramstein open. We still have all this shit open, The European economy still is at our beck and call in every regard. So I don't think that comes out really at all. Um, Man. All right, guys. So I actually have a couple of really, really funny stories that you all get to hear first because you're my Substack audience, and I really appreciate all of you. So first, we're gonna go with what I think is one of the funniest stories from this last week, which is how many people in this chat know about the crypto hoax that broke regarding Jonathan the tortoise, the 193-year-old tortoise? How many of you know what I'm even talking about? If you know what I'm talking about, please drop something in the chat. That way, I can at least know if I'm talking to an audience literally full of people who have no idea what I'm saying, or if there's at least some kind of awareness, please. I'll give us all 10 seconds to participate. Anyone? Anyone, please? Is this thing on? Is this thing on? All right, all right. So, what this was over the last week, there was a person who was on Twitter who was impersonating a person named Joe Hollins. And Joe Hollins is the veterinarian who takes care of Jonathan. Jonathan is a 193-year-old tortoise who lives in Seychelles Island. Actually, he lives on St. Helena. I'm sorry. He's a Seychelles tortoise. And this person who's impersonating the veterinarian came on Twitter and said that Jonathan the tortoise had died. And he posted, as the veterinarian, this very, very like grief-soaked obituary to Jonathan. It was very sad. And within hours, this post had accumulated almost 2 million views. And when this happened, almost instantaneously, USA Today, the BBC, Newsweek, I mean, all these mainstream publications, they all picked it up and they all reported on it, which was that Jonathan, the 193-year-old tortoise, the tortoise that had been older than the US Civil War, had died. And it was all fake. All of it was fake. In fact, the real Joe Hollins, the actual veterinarian, doesn't even use Twitter. The fucking governor of St. Helena, Nigel Phillips, actually was getting ready for bed when people started blowing up his phone and being like, "Oh my God, we just heard about Jonathan. That's so sad." And he was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So he went with the actual veterinarian and they went to check on Jonathan, who's just sleeping under a tree. It was discovered within a few hours of it being reported anyway, that the Twitter account who had reported on this had a Solana link in their bio. And the Solana link went to a contract for a coin, a fucking crypto coin called $Jonathan. And the market cap briefly spiked to almost $400,000 before totally collapsing. Now, what I find funny about this are a few things. One, the fact that the mainstream media publications just ran with this off of a single unverified tweet. Like, that's funny to me. Two, how much I want, okay, remember, market cap of $400,000. How much do you all in my chat think that the top traders made off of this pump and dump? Do you think it was $100,000? Do you think it was $200,000? How many of you were going to guess that they made less than $3,000? Less than the price of a new fucking MacBook Pro. And so this whole thing, apparently the IP address here, was actually traced back to Brazil, and good on them. They got their bag, I guess. That's kind of crazy. But what I really think is just insane is that like institutional verification actually is so dead that now the replacement is just vibes and like a wallet address, and nobody really gives a fuck. You know what I mean? It's like that to me is so damning to the institutional reporters who actually picked up that story, sent it to their editor in chief, and everybody up the chain was like, "Yep, sounds right. He's 193 years old. That's what 193-year-old animals do is they die." But nobody bothered to check. It's like, especially at the BBC, you would think somebody's got to have this fucking person's number. It can't be that hard to verify this. And I know you're thinking, like, Corn Pop, do you think they're going to do that for like a tortoise? I don't know. I mean, I personally think that knowing that Jonathan is something that I've known about since I was in sixth grade, yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's not like just a random fucking tortoise died. Listen, random tortoises die every day in climate related disasters, in ecosystem die off and all that. We don't report on that at all. I mean, we do. They just become numbers instead of having names. But this is an actual cultural figure. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what you all think about this, but to me, I just find that really, really deeply funny and very, very absurd. Now, I have a second story for all of you, which is about a 6-week now series that is being run through The Guardian, which is Reek Samader. So Reek Samader is a journalist for The Guardian who actually decided to give his entire dating profile over to an artificial intelligence system. Now, what he did was he had the artificial intelligence write his dating profile, and he had his artificial intelligence choose his outfits for the dates. And also, now granted, I want to preface this, he did actually tell his date that, hey, I'm using an AI to prompt our conversation. Somehow she did not throw water in his face and kick him in the dick, and she stood around, which is, all power to her, ally to women. But he had an AI actually live prompt their conversation topics during a date. I think that's crazy. Now, what I also find kind of insane, though, is that, like, Samater is not like an AI bull. He's actually The Guardian's like resident AI skeptic. And the 6-week format to me is like very key, right? Because he's not actually like trying to be neutral. He's much more so trying to document a sort of drift that is happening in his own life as he acquiesces all agency over to a robot. Now, what is especially interesting, though, is that all this is landing at a time where Bumble, the dating app, is launching something called Bee. I don't know how many of you have heard about this, but Bee is essentially the same thing. It is an AI that actually, when you are onboarding onto the app, asks you a lot of questions and then matchmakes on your behalf. Now, what I think is interesting about that is not just that it's happening at the same time, it's also that this is happening at the same time where users are reporting that Bee is actually creating profiles on their behalf without them asking to. How is that possible, you might ask? Well, I don't know how many of you have heard about a system called OpenClaw. But OpenClaw being a sort of framework where you can build out AI agents that take control of your computer and actually take actions on your behalf. Well, some people who have done that, who have actually given their computers full autonomy to go and do things on their behalf, have come back to find that somewhere along the way of sending emails and creating spreadsheets and creating presentations, their AI actually went and created a dating profile for them on Bumble. And that Bumble then took all their information given to them by one AI and then went and then matchmade for them on behalf of another AI, two AIs who talked with no human in the middle. And on the other end of either of them are two people. Now, the reason that I think all of that is just interesting, I'm actually going to steal a quote here from Quartz, if you all don't mind, which is that this is effectively what happens when you take the pitch of Silicon Valley at face value, right? Silicon Valley's entire pitch is that optimization and friction removal is the point of being alive. And Samater's column and also Bumble's Bee, the AI, is an artifact of what happens taking that pitch literally, right? When you automate charm, charm stops meaning anything. And within the context of human interactions, presence becomes the only scarce good left. The only thing that you can offer that nothing else can offer is that you are there when otherwise you could be somewhere else. And that might be in and of itself a sort of interesting end to explore. But I just think that it breeds an intense amount of nihilism. Why do I think that? Well, I think that it breeds nihilism because ultimately there is nothing left, right? Silicon Valley and the tech promise has become so ubiquitous in our society in running everything, right? We're all constantly subject to AI. We have no choice but to at least look at it and to see it and to engage with it in some way or another. And that's just a continuation off of the fact that Silicon Valley has taken over every other part of our life, right? Social media did not have to come out the way it ended up coming out, but ultimately there are bigger powers than us at play. And so what are we left doing? Just engaging with it and having to talk to people who also are subsumed by it. I mean, if you're watching the stream, you probably are one of those people who has been consumed by the social media paradigm that Silicon Valley promised you, which is listen, don't think about it, just scroll, just comment, just share, just engage, whatever. Just increase your session time to the maximum amount that you can imagine. Taylor Lorenz, the tech journalist, actually, I think is a great example of this, where she proudly touts the fact that her screen time is 15 hours a day. That's real. You should look that up, by the way. It's very crazy. But at least previously, there was a criticism that could be lobbed against you if you were a netizen, which is like, well, you're building a community, you're building a sort of sense of belonging, but it's not real because it's not real in the sense that you're not sweating. The flesh and blood is not really interfacing, right? There's a medium between the two of you. But now there's not even something where you could say like, well, yeah, that might be true, but I am talking to real people. I'm sharing real ideas. I have to get on the phone with people, right? There's a sociability there that you could at least point to and say, I am building something. It just may not be the same as it used to be. But now when you have these AIs that are doing all this intermediary work, they're removing the friction. I mean, you're not really building anything. You're just kind of arriving, And I think that I can only imagine the cynicism that is going to keep breeding into our society where it's like, well, Silicon Valley through AI took the meaning of work even further away from me, took the promise of work away from me because my boss is going to take any excuse they can to suppress my wages or get rid of my job. Okay, well, at least I have social media. Oh, wait, social media is mostly bots. Okay, at least I have the possibility of finding love. Okay, actually, love now is also like transmuted through the layer of robots. Okay, I guess that all I have is myself. What do I have to offer myself? I don't know, a lot of sense of doom. I guess there'll be two people who are kind of dooming together and like not really knowing why they're here and not knowing what meaning is anymore. Looking at each other when two robots placed us across from each other, saying your flavor of doom mixes with my flavor of doom. Now, Kith, I don't know, not the best, I would say, personally speaking. Now, what I want to do here is I would like to close out my show in my last 8 minutes. I have all of you, and I would like to give you guys a little bit of a game, if you don't mind. And I'd really love all of you to participate here. I want to give you guys 7 products. I know 7 is a lot, but just keep up. Okay, I promise you could do it. I want to give you guys 7 products, and I want you to tell me which of these products you believe actually is real, because every single one of these products actually got launched this week, and most of them have websites that you can go visit. You can try to buy them too. It's pretty crazy. They all got launched on or around April Fool's Day. And remember, one of the products I'm about to read to you is real. This is a real thing you can go buy. So let's go ahead and let's read them. The first is Yahoo's Scroll Stopper. This is a $5 little thumb cap. It's a plastic thumb cap that you can literally put on your thumb that physically prevents you from doom scrolling. Okay, that's number 1, the Scroll Stopper. Number 2 is Traeger's Meet AI Smart Grilling Glasses. These are AI thermal imaging eyewear for grilling. It is a thing that allows you to see how done something is, and also uses thermal imaging to tell what the temperature of that piece of meat is that's on the grill. That way, you can have the perfect medium rare steak at all times, so long as you remember to charge your glasses. The third is PlayStation's Project Waymo controller. This is a controller that is themed after the Astrobot, Astro, of course, being the mascot for PlayStation. And what this controller does is, if you need it to, it can actually beat bosses for you when you're playing a video game. It'll just take over and it'll just play the game for you on any game that is compatible with PlayStation. The fourth is Dyson's Airstraight mane and tail for horses. This is actually marketed toward equestrians, especially those who are doing like non-athletic equestrian shows, who are doing like horse shows though. And it is a $500 hair straightener for horses. The sixth is the Aura Ring for dogs. This is a smart ring tracking for your dog's REM cycles and for their stress signals, so that you can tell whether or not your dog is going to wake up from sleep feeling stressed and ready for training, in case you happen to do a lot of training with them. And the final product I have for all of you is the Brew O'Clock AI coffee alarm. So this is actually made from 8 O'Clock Coffee, the company. I personally think their coffee is rancid and tastes a little bit like it was made inside of a twice used, left in the sun plastic milk jug. I hate it. I would never be sponsored by them. They're disgusting. But 8 o'clock coffee announced an AI powered alarm that brews coffee exactly at the time that you set it for. Question to all of you: which do you think inside of what I just said is real? Because I want you to remember, one of those is real. One of those things is a real thing you can really go buy right now. I'm going to give all of us maybe 20 seconds to put our guesses in, and then I'll share with you which one is real. Oh man, I would love to be a Stella sponsor. I mean, really, because the Stella non-alcoholic beer is so fucking good. It's so delicious, and it honestly just tastes like Stella. I literally cannot tell you that this is not Stella if I wasn't trying to. Like, all right, so we have, all right, so Bleepo says the Dyson, horse straightener, uh, and then the Leonard, J says the horse straightener. Schlippy says the meat temperature glasses. EJ says the dog REM sleep thing. Malcolm says maybe the dog ring. All right, so here is the real answer, by the way. Hold on. Hold on. Let me just go, I'm gonna share my screen with all of you, actually. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. Okay. You guys are gonna you're going to lose your mind, actually. Hold on. Alright, so, let me just share what I have here. Everybody, I'm so sorry to announce to you, it is actually the scroll stopper. Yahoo actually did release this. It is $5. You can actually buy this right now. It's disgusting. For a tech company that yeah, I know. No, no. For a tech company that partook in destroying all of our attentions and also giving their newsfeed away to infinite scroll, quite literally helping create the problem of doom scrolling, they have decided to cash in on maximum cynicism by saying, actually, go ahead and buy a $5 fucking widget that is just landfill waste to stop yourself from using our product. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that great? Um, Schlippy says, damn, I want an excuse to use some meat. Actually, you know what's funny about that is, hold on. You know what's funny about that though is that I did bring this up to you is that there really is a website for the meat glasses. By the way, I wasn't kidding about that. Like you really could look at this. Yeah, smart AI smart grilling glasses, doneness detected, meat vision technology, recipe radar. God, there's so many people who use ChatGPT for meal planning that absolutely would go bananas at this. Um, Also, sear in the dark, night vision mode, which honestly is like really funny of them. But yeah, yeah, not the best, I would say. Doesn't make me feel super good about the future, if I'm being quite honest with all of you. Um, yeah, so that's that to me, when I look at stuff like this, I think, how could you not be cynical? How could you not have this deep nihilism rotting in your heart like a potato has the fucking what is it? The blight. How could you not feel that way? I mean, these companies quite literally are selling you bullshit. They're playing in your face on April 1st saying, "Give us $5 after we ruined your fucking attention span." And buy a thing that is supposed to be a tongue-in-cheek nod to the fact that we ruined everybody's ability to talk to each other, right? All at the same time, while there's shit like Jonathan the Tortoise having a fucking crypto pump and dump being done in his name. He's a tortoise. He just wants to eat lettuce. Okay. All while then we have companies like Bumble being like, what if we had an AI match you up with a big titty goth girl in your area? Would you like that? And we're supposed to be like, wow, Sam Altman has great ideas. Wow, I can't wait for these people to own society forever. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. What is the sales pitch these people really expect me to buy? I know what the answer is. They don't expect me to buy anything. They expect me to go die in Iran. You know? I mean, that's the answer. That is the answer, is that these people want me to go die in Iran to fight energy wars that people like Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth cook up in harebrained ideas while Pete Hegseth is drunk off of alcoholic Stellas. And they want to just give money, but yeah, Donnie, you got great ideas, man. Yeah. Yeah, fuck it. Nuke Tehran, man. Yeah, fuck it. Don't pay attention to what we're doing over here. Don't pay attention to the fact that tens of millions of people bought your lie. That you're not gonna have to ever face them ever, Donnie. They're never gonna have a Bastille Day, Donnie. The only people who do Bastille Days are Republicans. They're not gonna storm the White House. No. What are they gonna do? They're gonna bitch on our app. They're gonna bitch on Twitter. Donnie, you're so cool, man. God, your dick is so big. And Melania just wants to fuck you so bad, man. Just let us make more shit like this. Malcolm Ball says also it's tough because it's a product for a solution that already exists and is free. I know. I know. Oh God. Well, everybody, this has been a great 30-minute pre-show to my TikTok show. Thank you so much for joining me. I really cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. This is actually really, really fun. Please rate this stream. At least 1 corn out of 10 corns, and hopefully you give me 10 corn emojis. Please drop the number of corn emojis that you would rate this show. I would love to know. Do you guys like that I prepared some silliness for you? I hope so. I mean, it was great fun to enjoy it with all of you. Really. Next week, though, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming. To all my paid subscribers who might be watching this, I'm very sorry. Corn Papa is sorry. Okay. I meant to go live last week, but I was so tired. I really just could not do it, man. I'm sorry. I should have really should have just hit it hard. Schlippy gave me 5 corns. Malcolm Valls gave me what I think is 10 corns. Thank you, Malcolm. Yeah, thank you guys for giving me the corns. Really appreciate it. You're all my little kernels. Don't you wish we could smoke inside? God, I wish I wish it was the 90s again just for that. I really do. Well, everybody, Corn Papa loves you, and you can catch me on TikTok here in about maybe 5 minutes or so. I'm gonna move over there and open up my chat to the wider world and try to move all of them over here because I would love it, honest to God, if I would love it, honest to God, if people would just follow me here. God, TikTok is such an ass app. But I will I'll be seeing you guys over there. Okay, and I'll see you guys next Saturday. Thank you guys. Love you.